Another player gone, and the Traitors avoided detection. With the end of day six and the game nearing its end, how will the Traitors navigate tonight's round? Murder, banishment, or does the game have a surprise twist for them to consider? Let's bring them in and see how they're feeling.
What's up? What's up?
Oh,
We got the blue on today, huh?
yeah, we're matching.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we matched without even planning it.
Yeah. I think it was just telepathy.
Oh yeah. All
Man,
right.
oh man, Matt.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah. Have you heard anything today from anybody?
Not today. No one's talked really.
Yeah.
Not even just really. No one's talked at all. I haven't talked to anyone today. Last night I was chatting with Victoria and Jonathan. I talked to Jonathan a little bit, and I said, "Oh, like, do you want to make a group with Victoria?" He's like, "Yeah." So I messaged them, and I was like, "All right, well, this is me like doing what Patrice said. Like, apparently I'm not playing the game right." And then they laughed, and we're like, "Okay." And then that was it. We just chatted for a little bit, and then Victoria said, she said she was surprised that no one was questioning the Patrice vote, and she said that people would be questioning, so she feels like she might trust the branded votes more. And I was like, okay, you saying that as a Patrice vote, okay, got it. Um, I don't know, but I feel like it'd be turned either way. Like if she brings that up, I'm like, I mean, you're also, I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of like what Brad did with the whole shield thing. Like, oh, one of the people who won the shields like the first time, they
Mm.
have to be a traitor. Like, I mean, it had some weight, but not really.
Yeah,
It kind of died out.
yeah.
But yeah, I think we have quite a bit of options. I was gonna say I think there's Phil.
Hello, Phil.
Well, welcome tonight. I would like you to kick off by talking about a couple things, and then I'm going to just let you guys go ahead and just talk it all out. So the things I'd like you to talk about is how hitting Jonathan's shield helped or hurt you in the game, what your thoughts are of Patrice's elimination at the round table, and if you could please discuss the three potential players to murder, and if instead you are thinking of recruiting tonight, the three people you might recruit. Reminder though that Brandon won a shield and cannot be murdered. I'm gonna let you guys talk. Have fun.
Okay. Um,
Well, I think we both knew that like if Jonathan was murdered last time, it would have been great for us. But even if he wasn't, like what happened, it was
it
still
was
great
still
for us
good.
because of the recruitment theory, and people really ran with it at first. Even Jonathan himself was like, "Oh, there's no way the traders are doing that. There's no ways they would have killed me or Brad. Like, absolutely not.
Exactly.
There has to be recruitment." And I was like, "You're right. Yes,
Exactly. So it had the intended effect. We were
yeah,
gonna win either way. We either
yeah,
win getting him out or we win causing more confusion.
yeah."
So yeah, and then Patrice, let's talk about Patrice going out. Obviously, preferably it would have been good him going out this time around, like this round table that's coming up. But um, it was close. What was it, five,
It
four?
was 5-4.
Yeah, like it could have been one person,
Yeah.
and it's crazy that Victoria ended up voting him out ultimately because like we decided that we were gonna stick together and like make sure that Brandon went. So she
Mhm.
kind of flipped. So there
Mhm.
is that suspicion. I know Brad himself was Victoria as a possible suspicion.
Mhm.
So um, I think Patrice going is good.
Mhm.
Also bad in a way because he did take up a lot of time in the 15 minutes. Just literally talking.
Yeah.
So now it's definitely going to be like a little different now. The whole dynamic of
Yes.
pause.
Yeah, I was looking at all of our names and I'm like, oh my God, like after the person gets murdered tonight, there's only 7 of us left. And so we really have to be talking and not in the background or anything. Um, yeah, I totally agree.
So I
It's
have a
gonna be fun.
theory that we can run with
Yeah.
and kind of push. So Melissa obviously was kind of like in the background. She talked when she needed to, still kind of behind the scenes kind of a person. The only other two people that match those kind of vibes out of all of us that are left are Brandon and Caleb. So I was thinking, I feel like the ones who have contributed and who have said, said how they felt about certain things and have been pretty open with their game thus far and exchanging information and comparing everything. Maybe those are truthfully the faithfuls.
Mhm.
And we've been looking in the wrong direction the whole time because
Yeah.
right away Tina dismissed Brandon as even being capable of being a
Mhm.
traitor. So we didn't even look his way,
Yeah.
and then the whole thing with Stick blew up, who's just again, Brandon said that he remembers Stick holding up a paper that says faithful.
Mhm.
But do you recall that?
I don't recall that. I talked to Anthony and Brad about it, and Anthony, one of them said that she wrote something. She wrote faithful on a paper, but it wasn't like a reveal or anything. It was just her saying like, "I'm a faithful, y'all. Like I swear." But anyone could do that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a confirmation or anything from.
So Brandon being the one to kind of like be like, yeah, 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 she's a
Yeah.
faithful. Again, it makes more sense. Stick being
Mhm.
a traitor, Melissa also being a traitor, and then
Mhm.
Brandon being the possible third in there.
Yep.
And they basically tumbled early on. So Brandon's sitting there by himself,
Mhm.
recruits Caleb, and those are the traitors right now.
Yeah. And
Because
this is great too because I feel
yeah,
like Victoria trusts us, and I feel like she trusts Jonathan the most, and so we can kind of work with that. If he does end up leaving, we can pull her in, or vice versa. If we get rid of
yeah.
Victoria, same thing. Jonathan trusts us more, and we can pull
So
him.
Brad is not sussing you at all, Daniel. I need you to understand. Like he was like Daniel, Anthony, and then myself. He was like,
Mhm.
I trust that you guys are the faithfuls.
Yep.
I do think that you and I can be a little bit more open with Brad, like that you and I are speaking,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
if you want, we can even be like, oh, we had a good discussion today, and we're feeling really good about each other.
Hmm.
Basically,
Yeah.
me and you staying on the same page, and our mutual, good feelings
Yeah.
for Brad. Us three
Yeah.
can be a strong voting
Agreed.
number.
Yeah. For
Because
sure.
do we have another murder after this murder, or this is
I,
the last one?
I thought we had another murder.
So
There's eight of us now. Murder goes on to seven. Banishment goes on to six. And I thought we had a murder to go down to five. Um, Phil or Aunt Penelope out there, are you all able to confirm that or deny?
yeah, Phil, can you confirm that?
I have said it, and yes, that is correct. So tonight, murder, then there'll be a banishment, and then there'll be another murder, and then we're in
Okay.
our finals.
So that's what we really had to think about.
Yeah.
The people that will believe that
Yes.
you and I are faithfuls.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
how we have to end the game with.
Yeah.
Um, we
I'm
could
glad.
put, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm glad you're bringing this up because again,
Yeah.
I have the eight names written down. I crossed one off potentially, and I was sitting here like thinking the same thing that the round tables are gonna be a little more quiet. We have to make sure to speak, and people are gonna end up being in rooms, two, maybe three in each room because there's only three breakout rooms.
Hmm.
And people are gonna start asking me, how do you feel about Matt? And I'm sure they're gonna ask you how you feel about
Yeah.
Daniel. And we have to have our story straight because if we say, oh, we're
We
we're
talked.
good, whatever, like yeah, but we have to say what have we been talking about since when, like who we're sussing or whatever. So I do agree with you, yeah, with the whole thing that we talked today and we had a good discussion.
Hmm.
Um,
And that's exactly it. Like, kind of how when we were talking, we alluded to the fact that people who have been open have been
yeah,
essentially the ones we've been voting out at these
yeah,
banishments, and they're the faithfuls
yeah,
until we took a different
hmm,
direction and looked at Melissa,
yep,
and she was a traitor.
hmm,
And then we kind of went back into the same mindset. Oh, it has to be somebody who's like connected or playing a strong
hmm,
game with a loud voice.
hmm,
And it turns out we were wrong
yeah,
again.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we can have that narrative a lot.
yeah.
So definitely thinking about that. All right, let's talk about potential murders or recruitments.
Well, let's go to
Um,
you want to do murders first.
yeah, let's do murders
Yeah.
first.
I think kind of mentioned earlier, I feel like Victoria and Jonathan are both they're very close together and I feel like they trust us. And I feel like if we were to get rid of one or the other, I feel like they would both come into our corner. And it'd be
Yeah,
nice to have them, whoever it is, as well as Brad. And so we're kind of doing what we kind of pushed that Patrice was doing and playing
yep.
two
Both
different groups of
both
people.
sides.
Yeah.
And Jonathan and Victoria have always voted together every single time. So that's another thing.
Hmm.
We're basically controlling a vote by severing.
Yes. And then Jonathan, when we were talking after the vote went to Adam instead of Victoria, we talked about it, and Adam or not Adam, Jonathan was telling me, I just don't believe that Victoria is a traitor. I don't think so. The way she he made a comment too, which was funny. He said the way she asks questions is just like the way you do, Daniel. Like you guys are asking questions that are not as a trader would. I feel like a trader would do X, Y, Z. And it was a voice memo, so I had to quickly respond back. So I'm like, calm down, like let's get a response. And yeah. And so I agree. They're very they've been talking a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And then I believe a third name we mentioned was who was it? Was it Caleb?
Caleb, yes, just because
Yes.
Brandon, if we play the role of Brandon being a traitor, if Caleb is killed, people can be like, oh, well, what I don't think that Brandon would kill his friend. Like I would think that Brandon wants to keep him in. And so maybe Brandon thought that like, oh, they're not gonna believe that I killed him. So
Right.
let's kill Caleb.
The only scary thing about that, um, removing Caleb from the board and basically confirming he's a faithful, um, the whole recruitment theory. Well, then who did Brandon recruit? If
Mhm.
we get Brandon out, and let's say I'm not Brandon, I'm sorry. Let's say we get Caleb out, we go in, and then we banish Brandon, God
Mhm.
willing.
It
Then
has to be
sitting
someone
there,
else.
we're sitting there with Jonathan, with Victoria, with Anthony, and with Brad. Those are some
Hmm.
sharp ass people.
Hmm.
You know, one of us got recruited, so
Yeah.
who did they recruit?
Yeah. And
And
there's
then
gonna be a murder for sure at the six. So like they're gonna know there's one left when we get to that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we got to be a little careful with that if we
Yeah.
decide to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
Now,
Yeah.
recruitments, if we were to bring in anybody, I think again Anthony would be great. Having him end as a trader would be like the most poetic thing.
Hmm.
um, who else do you think? Who else do you think?
I would it's hard because like they don't get revealed anymore. Like if they did get revealed, it'd be nice to
Mhm.
get Brandon in here and then it revealed he's a traitor and it's like, oh perfect, like we knew it, we knew this whole
Yeah,
time. And that would leave the theory, well, maybe it was Caleb that he recruited and maybe he's the final one. But since we're not revealing anymore, it's kind of difficult. I feel like we would need someone who is less sus than us, which I don't think either of us have been sus. Again, I don't think I've heard your name, Matt, as being sus. If anything, I've heard your name as being good from Jonathan, from Victoria, from Brad, from Patrice. Um, and so just I honestly think honestly, I don't want to say that we're the least sus out of everyone, at least suspicions, but like
I'm gonna be honest. The only
no.
person who has mentioned your name, and this isn't last night. This was when me and this person were on a call, but it was just Jonathan. Jonathan is the only one that mention your name only because he feels that you're very likable. You're very like calm when you say things like, and you have a voice that people listen to. So that was the only thing that we kind of talked about. But all the other players in here, not a single
Mhm.
one of you has uttered your name.
Yeah.
So
And hopefully we'll keep it that way. And same with you.
yeah,
Again, Matt, I'm in with you.
I'm in with you too,
I,
Daniel.
I'm
Listen,
good, man. Like
we gotta
I'm
we
not
gotta
gonna throw
clear
you
a
under the
path.
bus, man.
My only worry is again taking the right people to the end. Let's say we're sitting in a scenario where I don't know how, but let's just hypothesize. We're sitting in a final where it's five of us:
Yep.
me, you, Victoria, Anthony, and Brad. So we're sitting there. We obviously can't end the game with five people. You know, one of those five has to be a traitor. There's no
Yep.
way. That's too big of a
Yeah.
group. Now, if we do the plan to have Brad on our side, how do we go about that? About
Hmm.
either deciding to, sus Victoria,
Yep.
get her out, or sus Anthony, get him out?
Yep. Yeah.
Because Victoria still has that theory where, one of the returnees are a traitor,
Yep.
but I know Brad and Anthony kind of feel Victoria's kind of sus,
Mhm.
so how would we play that?
Yeah. And we also have to think about over the next day, we need to talk to people and see if they also think it's going to be a seer power since we don't reveal. And we need to know what they would do if they got the seer power. Are they going to choose someone who they really think is faithful, or are they going to choose someone who they think is the most sus?
Right.
And we can make sure to navigate around that so that they don't ask one of us the question, if it is not us who win the possible seer power that's out there.
Yeah,
That's really important to look at too over the next couple or over the
absolutely.
next day, right?
Absolutely. And I was gonna use a lot of tomorrow to like get a lot of my conversations in, kind of feel people out,
Mhm.
maybe hype up the Brandon Caleb angle.
Yeah.
I do think we have to hold on to what Patrice said, like what he heard Brandon say. Like
Mhm.
honestly, on paper, what reason would Patrice have to lie about that if he was a faithful?
Mhm.
He heard it.
Right. Right.
So that's it. That's a fact,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
we
sure.
could definitely use that as kind of like the nail in the coffin
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. And there's
I
people
could,
believing it too.
yeah,
Victoria said she's like, I think I might believe the Brandon Caleb thing. And I'm like, I don't know if she's playing 40 chess and she only said that because I was in the chat with Jonathan. That could be true too. She's very smart, but I think she believes that route that it could been, but could have been that it's Brandon Caleb.
I just don't see the reason for him to say that. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
only
Yeah.
if he was a traitor. If he was a traitor, it makes sense. Like, oh, he
Yep.
was just trying to lie to
Yeah.
put sus on him. But
Yeah. And the fact that Patrice said like he looked very shocked when he was in there, and Brandon said, "Oh, well, I think it was just because I was waiting for you to talk." I feel like that's a good defense if you were a traitor. Like, oh, I was just waiting for you.
like, why would you wait? Don't you want to
Yeah.
contribute?
Yeah.
You want to share how you feel? Which
Yeah.
they
Like,
have.
oh, I was sorry, I was just talking to the camera about XYZ. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we got something to work with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm excited.
Me too. I'm very excited.
Well, I do also want to remind you that currently there is $124 in the pot. That's $62 each for the two of
Nice.
you. Um, or of course, if one of you wants to make a move and go get away with it all, you will get $124.
I would crack under the pressure of doing that, Daniel.
So, I do have one more question that I'd like to know. Just opinion wise, between the two of you, who at this point would you say has been the ultimate traitor?
Um,
Don't be shy, Daniel.
I think Matt has been great. I think Matt, you're a better speaker than I am. I think I have been thinking a lot about like every person's kind of route and what they're thinking, but I feel like when it comes to like being able to call Melissa out the round table or like call people out, I feel like I've talked at the round table, but a lot of my talking has been, I don't know, like answers I already have. With you, I think you're a little better off on the fly than I am. So that's how yeah, I think you've been
Yeah,
good doing
I would
being
I would say I'm the most traitor. Yeah. Obviously, like I saw the move to get Melissa out. There could have been a potential to evade that happening, but it would have put you more on the spotlight, and that's not what I wanted because we were
yeah.
sitting at a good spot.
Hmm.
So it was either we work with the people who are trusting us and may potentially get us to the end, or staying loyal to someone we know is for sure a traitor and will potentially eventually get caught.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it,
So
yeah,
you're saying that Matt has been the ultimate traitor. Before we continue, I need you to mute. So Matt, you have been named the ultimate traitor, and tonight I am rewarding you for being given this title. Tonight, you will cast the sole decision on who will be eliminated, or recruited. And everyone but Brandon is up for grabs. And let me repeat, everyone is up for grabs. So you could murder a faithful tonight, thinning out the herd on Team Faithful, or for the first time ever, I am giving you the ultimate traitor's twist. If you feel it is in your best interest to eliminate a fellow traitor at this point, you may do so. If you choose to do this, it will be revealed at the start of round seven that Daniel was murdered, and they must leave the game without being able to tell the remaining players that they were a traitor themselves. So, Daniel, I hope you've made a strong enough bond with Matt that they keep you in the game, or maybe they feel they need to make a move in order to get to the end. Um, Maybe they feel you possibly haven't pulled your weight to deserve the win. Lots to think about. But Matt, you will have the sole choice: recruit, murder a faithful, or murder a traitor. Daniel, I now need you to leave the Zoom call while I discuss further with Matt. So, Matt, so many thoughts. I'd like you to discuss all three options, how they may help and hurt your game. Please do not reveal exactly what you're going to do yet.
Okay. Wow. So again, the options are recruitment, murder faithful, or murder the only other traitor in the game besides myself. Okay. Wow. That was big. I was not expecting that. Damn it. Obviously, like it's easy to, get in the role of the traitor and get into the mindset where it's like, yeah, you want to win, you want to make sure you win, you know. But I definitely have to think about everything that Daniel has contributed as well. So definitely pondering on that. I honestly don't think a recruitment would be needed. I don't think it's necessary to have any of the others, doing the trader thing. I think we have everybody where we need them right now. Um, so really, it's just weighing out if I want to murder Daniel and be the only one, or murder a faithful and keep going with him. Um, damn, that's big.
Well, viewers, that has a very big decision. What will they decide? Will someone be recruited? Will a faithful be murdered? Or will the ultimate traitor power make a move against their own? We will find out at the start of day 7.